Hello everyone, I am Professor Chetan Sagar, recording the second lecture on turbocharger engine. I hope you have seen and understood my first video lecture on the supercharger engine. So this video lecture is in the continuation with the first one. If you haven't subscribed and liked my first lecture, you can do it. So here I have covered the turbocharger technology in detail. You can see this for upgrading the knowledge, clearing the doubts, and can refer this as a study material for the examination. After watching this video, don't forget to subscribe and like my YouTube channel. So this is the content I am going to cover here: the working of turbocharger engine, the effect of turbocharger on the performance, disadvantages, the concept of turbo lag, advancement in turbocharger engine technology, and the applications. So the function of the turbocharger engine is similar to the supercharger engine, is to raise the pressure of the inlet air during the suction stroke. Increase in the pressure of the inlet air increases the density of the air. Consequently, the volumetric efficiency is going to increase. And if the density and the volumetric efficiency is going to increase, the combustion it is going to improve, and due to this the power output, or we can say the performance of the engine, is going to increase. So that is the purpose of the turbocharger engine. So this turbocharger engine basically consists of the two chambers. The first chamber, it consists of the turbine wheel, or it is called the turbine chamber, and the second chamber, it is the compressor chamber, consists of the compressor wheel. This turbine wheel and the compressor wheel are interconnected by the shaft which passes through the center housing. So during the exhaust stroke, the exhaust gases are going to pass through this exhaust manifold over the turbine wheel. Due to this, the rotation of the turbine wheel takes place. Due to the rotation of the turbine wheel, the compressor wheel is going to rotate. And due to the rotation of the compression wheel, the compression of the inlet air takes place, and the compressed air or the pressurized air is going to enter through this inlet manifold into the respective engine cylinder. So the advantage of the turbocharger technology is that the wastage energy of the exhaust gas is utilized to run the compressor. Again, I am repeating, the wastage energy of the exhaust gas is utilized to compress the air, unlike the supercharger engine. In supercharger engine, only one chamber is available, that is the compressor chamber, consists of the compressor wheel, and that compressor wheel is directly run by the engine crankshaft. So the dependency is on the engine crankshaft only, onto the engine power only. Here the wastage energy of the exhaust gas is utilized to run the turbine to compress the inlet air. So basically it will raise the pressure of the inlet air from 1.5 bar to 2.5 bar, and the turbine is going to rotate from 10,000 rpm to 1,50,000 rpm. So satisfactory air charging over the complete speed range takes place into the turbocharger engine. So this is the basic construction of the turbocharger engine. So what is the effect of this turbocharging on the performance of the engine? So it is in the comparison with the naturally aspirated engine. So the higher brake power output over the speed range. In the first figure, it is the comparison between the turbocharger and the naturally aspirated engine. So this is the same capacity engine. So at 6,000 rpm, the maximum brake power from the naturally aspirated engine, it is 193 HP, and similarly for the turbocharger engine it is 371 HP. So this is the comparison. Similarly, if you compare the brake torque at the same RPM at 4000, the maximum torque from the naturally aspirated engine it is 275 Newton meter, and from the turbocharged engine it is 543 Newton meter. So this difference is because of the increase in the density of the air. It is because of the compression of the air, because of the increase in the volumetric efficiency results into the better and the smoother combustion. As well as we can say these engines are having a better torque over the speed range, so the acceleration to the vehicle it is available from the lower speed. Similarly, the average pressure, it is also called as the mean effective pressure, is higher as compared to the naturally aspirated engine, because during the suction stroke the pressure of the inlet air it is 1.5 bar to 2.5 bar. So again during compression and after the combustion that pressure will be higher. So the average pressure throughout the cycle is higher as compared to the naturally aspirated engine, and that is desirable. Similarly, if you compare the specific fuel consumption for the naturally aspirated engine and the turbocharger engine, naturally aspirated engine having a more fuel consumption as compared to the turbocharger. As well as compare with the supercharger engine, the turbocharger engine is having a lower specific fuel consumption. It is because the independency onto the engine power. And because of the better and the smoother combustion, the emission produced from the engine it is on the lower side as compared to the naturally aspirated engines. So along with the advantages, it is having a certain disadvantages due to increase in the pressure of the inlet air. The rise in the temperature of the inlet air is takes place. Consequently, drop in the density of the air is takes place, and due to this the volumetric efficiency it is going to decrease. That is undesirable in diesel engine as well as in case of the petrol engine. As well as increase in the temperature reduces the ignition lag period of the end charge, so it can create the detonation. That is again that is undesirable in case of the SI engine. And due to increase in the temperature, we can say the thermal stresses inside the engine cylinder is going to increase. The cooling system of the engine should be properly tuned, as well as due to increase in the pressure the gas loading inside the engine cylinder it is higher, and the fuels which are using for the turbocharger engine which must have the better anti-knock characteristic, means the cetane number as well as the octane number of the fuel should be as high as possible. If you compare the weight, since the number of components are more, the weight of the engine is more as compared to the naturally aspirated engine as well as compared with the supercharger engine. And very important thing, or we can say the very important disadvantage of turbocharger engine is the turbo lag is available. So what is this turbo lag? So typically turbocharger starts to deliver the boost from 1700 rpm, not from the idling rpm. For example, idling rpm of the engine is 1000, and turbocharger it is going to start to deliver the boost from 1700 rpm. So the difference between this 1700 rpm and 1000 rpm, it is nothing but the turbo lag period. During that period, the turbocharger engine works like the naturally aspirated engine, though it is the turbocharger engine. Or we can say during that period the after that period, after the 1700 rpm, the turbocharger comes into the picture. So why it is happening? Why there is a turbo lag? It is because of the inertia of the turbine wheel, as well as it is due to the insufficient exhaust gas flow rate. So at a lower rpm, insufficient exhaust gas flow rate is there. Due to this, the turbine wheel it is not going to rotate, so turbo lag it is going to produce. So this figure is showing the comparison of the engine torque for the turbocharger and the supercharger. For the turbocharger engine, the maximum torque it is going to obtain after this rpm. For example, it is 1700 rpm. But in case of the supercharger, from the lower rpm only the maximum torque is going to obtain, or we can say the no lag period is available into the supercharger engine, because it is directly connected with the engine crankshaft. So how that turbo lag period can be reduced? So the turbo lag period, it is reduced by using the lower mass inertia material, as well as exhaust gases passing through the exhaust manifold are having a higher temperature and it is corrosive in environment. So there is a requirement of the special material with the long-term reliability. So for that purpose, the ceramic material rotors are using, which is having a very little mass inertia and it can withstand the higher temperature. So now the advancement into the turbocharger technology. The first one is the turbocharger with the boost control technology, or it is the wastegate control system. So to prevent the overboosting and to avoid the severe engine damage happening due to the more pressure, the boost control technology it is using. So this wastegate, it is nothing but the bypass valve at the exhaust inlet to the turbine. Again I am repeating, this wastegate, it is nothing but the door. It is the bypass valve mounted at the exhaust inlet to the turbine. So what is the function of this wastegate? It allows all the exhaust gases into the turbine, or it can route or bypass the part of the exhaust gases through the wastegate. Its meaning is that if you consider the first case, if 100% gases, exhaust gases are going into the turbine chamber, then the turbine will rotate at the higher rpm. Due to this, the more compression of the air takes place, the amount of air entering into the engine cylinder, it is higher. Its meaning is that the engine is operating at the heavy loading condition, and here the that bypass valve, it is in the closed condition. But if you consider the second condition, the bypass valve, it is 40% open, and due to this only the 60% exhaust gases are going to transfer onto the turbine wheel, and 40% exhaust gases are directly bypassing through this wastegate into the atmosphere. So definitely 60% gases are going to transfer onto the turbine wheel, means the turbine rpm will be lower as compared to the first case. Its meaning is that the engine is operating at the lower loading condition or less loading condition. So depend upon the loading condition, this boost control technology adjusts the pressure of the inlet air, and it will prevent the severe engine damages occurring over the period of timing. Similarly, in order to prevent the damage occurring to the engine components due to increase in the temperature, the intercoolers are using. Due to increase in the temperature, the density of the air, it is going to decrease, the volumetric efficiency of the engine is going to decrease. So to avoid this problem, the turbochargers with the intercoolers or aftercoolers are using. These intercoolers are mounted in between this compressor wheel and the engine compartment. So this intercooler is nothing but the heat exchanger only. It will cool the hot air and it will send into the engine cylinder. So due to this, the volumetric efficiency remains constant and it is going to maintain. And third advanced technology, it is called as the twin charger technology. In order to prevent the turbo lag period into the turbocharger engines, this technology it is using. Why it is called the twin charger? It is the combination of the supercharger and the turbocharger technology. So both the supercharger and the turbocharger technologies are available into this single engine. So at a lower speed, this supercharger available into the inlet manifold will send the compressed air into the engine cylinder because the lag period it is available for the turbocharger engine. So during the lower speed, this supercharger will rotate and that will compress the air and it will send into the engine cylinder. But as the RPM of the engine increases beyond the 1700 RPM, the turbocharger comes into picture and this supercharger goes out of the action. So this lag period it is going to eliminate here. So automatically that ECU it is going to control this function. So we can say by using the twin charger technology, the vehicle it is having a better acceleration from the idling RPM only, and the Volkswagen has developed this technology. So these are in these vehicles the turbocharger engines are available. The Volkswagen went to 1.5 TDI. That TDI is nothing but the turbocharger direct injection. The Ford Endeavour 3.2 TDCI turbocharged diesel common rail injection means CRDI technology in the combination with the turbocharger it is using here, as well as the Skoda Superb, the gasoline TSI technology. So this turbocharger again it is available into the gasoline engine. That TSI it is mentioned for the gasoline vehicles and it is mentioned by the Volkswagen Group, turbocharged stratified injection, as well as in Toyota Innova Crista 2.8 GX automatic transmission, the turbocharger engines are available. So that's it about the turbocharger lecture. I hope I am successful in clearing all the concepts related to the turbocharger technology. Similarly, I will upload many videos related to the advanced technology of the vehicle. Please like, subscribe and share my channel. Thank you.